Greetings! It is time for another Sega Channel Retro random stream. This is Bartman3010 back from vacation. Now that I'm back at the helm, there's been a few things that have come out lately, and some not that's been out for quite a long time, that has actually been driven by, dedicated Sega fans, and figured may as well try and show it off here today on the stream. And the first thing we're going to show off is a retooled PC version of Ecco the Dolphin that had come up from members, one of the members from Caverns of Hope, which is a dedicated Ecco the Dolphin fan site. Let's see, goes by the name goes by the name of Kurama, also known as Sebastian, who used to be an admin on the website. And he brings us this. This is actually a small launcher that is used. Basically, what he did was he created a launcher that allows people who have Ecco the Dolphin for Windows 95 to be able to launch it on modern Windows platforms. And if you don't have the PC version of Ecco the Dolphin, they offer basically a package that lets you have the game for free. I don't know the exact legality of like how that works out, but apparently they got the permission to do it. So here it is. So this here, you're basically given this launcher that gives you access to the different types of versions of Ecco the Dolphin for Windows 95, which also includes the Japanese version, which I believe actually is radically different from the American, every other version, because it was made considerably easier, which is kind of a funny turn of events if you think about it. But what some of the other features that this has is it actually uses Ogg Vorbis, I believe, as a way to generate the soundtrack, so you don't need your CD anymore for CD audio. And on top of that, the PC version didn't have nearly as many tracks as the Sega CD version did. So now you have the complete soundtrack that was remastered by Spencer Nielsen, and you also have other options such as replacing some of the graphics in the game, but it's not really a feature of the launcher itself. But it does have a few other debugging features, such as showing off the palette, the player position, and the frames per second, as well as some better palette blending features that the original PC version didn't have. But we've pretty much got everything set up for what I'm going to show off here, so let's jump right in. So we're basically given this window here, and this is basically how Ecco for Windows 95 starts off. Now, what you can do here is you can set up your controls, which, besides the ability to let you use a game controller, which is, unfortunately, one of the lacking things of this version, is that it still uses some pretty rudimentary joystick setup. So you're only limited to 4 face buttons, such as here. And, of course, if you have like an Xbox 360 controller, keep in mind you're going to be mapping the directional controls to the left analog stick and not so much the D-pad, which is kind of an issue if you want to try and go for traditional controls. But it also has mouse control, and I'm going to try and see if I can get into this later, but it's also not quite the best way to play the game. You can probably set up your keyboard to work with Joy to Key and just have it function that way. But what the main draw is, and let's just go ahead and jump in here, is that they've basically redrawn all the graphics for this version of the game. I'm going to just zoom that in here. Now this pretty much means that you don't really have access to the original graphics, but it does have better colors, like everything has a better draw, basically just everything just looks better. There is a lower resolution mode, but it doesn't emulate the Genesis version in any way. What also the PC version also has the ability to use different difficulty settings. So this actually comes with 3 different ones, and from what I recall, the easier modes basically just make it to where you don't go through as many levels, and depending on how you play, basically determines like how the difficulty lowers down, making some of the challenges in a level easier. What the PC version also has is these CG videos that were in the second game, that Tides of Time, that released on the Sega CD. But now they're here, You just activate them by sonaring a crystal that just kind of floats in the middle of nothing. They don't really serve much of a purpose here anymore, other than kind of giving you a vague hint of what you're supposed to be doing. And of course, since we're dealing with early 90s CG, it's, you know, it is what it is. Now, I am not the best Ecco the Dolphin player. In fact, this game can kind of get incredibly frustrating because you're having to figure out where everything is. It's entirely a game based around exploration, and what is nice about the PC version is that if you kill an enemy, they basically stay dead. If you played it on the original Mega Drive or Genesis version, if you killed an enemy off screen, or if you kill an enemy and you scroll off screen, they pretty much come back, and they can deal some pretty bad damage to you if you're not careful. And sometimes it's a little hard to kind of dodge certain objects, but you know, for those who haven't really played Ecco the Dolphin before, you basically play as a dolphin who has lost his family, as you saw earlier. And what he can do is communicate with other dolphins or other creatures in the sea, as well as, you know, you have to keep in mind of the needs of a dolphin, which is basically you can't breathe underwater at all. Like, it needs to come up for air every so often. And you can always eat fish to replenish your health. So as that glyph has basically shown off earlier, Ecco ran into an orca. And that's what this guy is right here. And of course, the basic progression of these levels involves these things here. When you touch these glyphs, sometimes they'll sonar into into Ecco this key thing. Yep, we found the orca. And it turns out the orca has a few hints to give to us. Gaga Man in the chat brings up that, wondering if the CGI cutscenes were used to try and fool people to think that it was a Sega Saturn tech demo. I don't know about that specifically. I just know that they do exist, at least in the Sega CD version of the sequel, but at least in the sequel, they kind of don't really have a place other than just, hey, it looks kind of neat that the Sega CD can pull this off. Of course, we have at least a slightly better resolution than what the video compression was like on a Sega CD. But to attack enemies, Ecco has a charge attack. And you'll also need to use this attack to get through certain obstacles. But we'll come along them in a few levels here. As we can see, this glyph here is not letting us through. And if we were to sonar it before, it would tell us we couldn't pass. But we got a key for it, and it lets us go on to the next level. Now, one very interesting piece about this PC version, and of course this was built into the original Windows 95 version, is that it allows you to save your game at any point by just tapping the F4 key. And then you get this here, which lets you save your progress at any time. Now, of course, this means you can't make use of any of the passwords, but on the plus side, you can just basically quit the level, like, right now. You get back to this screen. And you can save your game at this point, or you can just continue, and it just brings you back to the beginning of the last level. And of course, there is a pause button mapped onto the joystick, but eh. Here comes one of the main things why I don't like Ecco that much, is just you randomly just get caught up in these points where you just take damage, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. There's a current here, and it's pushing me against these spikes. But yeah, those glyphs also act as a checkpoint, and I believe on lower difficulty levels. So anytime that I die, I'm going to be able to go back to these things. Oh. The game's showing us you can sonar these clamshells, and some of the bubbles they spit out actually give you health. This one's good, but if you see red bubbles, they're going to cause damage to Ecco, so they're not good for you. Oh. Yep. And of course, you can tell it can get pretty... you can very easily lose your place in this area. If you hold the sonar button down, you'll actually get an area map that you can reference at any time. So, you can kind of get an idea of where everything is. Yeah, most of the glyphs you find in the game will also give you hints. Ooh. And you'll see what it references to with 8 arms in just a moment. Once I deal with these weird puzzles. Yeah, eventually we'll come up to these pockets of air that we can make use of, since there's not really any place to go to get back to the surface of the water. Yeah, here's one of these glyphs that we need a key for, so let's go look for that. Try not to die. There we go. Yeah, sometimes these enemies can be really unforgiving. All part of why I kind of feel like Ecco the Dolphin is actually kind of a frustrating game. And probably why people just get scared. Well, part of the reason why people just get scared to death playing this game. Although I think it's commendable for a game like Ecco the Dolphin to be scary for anybody playing, yet still be perfectly suitable for kids of all ages. Or adults, even. Got another key glyph, won't let us through, but in order to get that key, we gotta get past this guy. And I gotta say, the controls for Ecco for Windows 95 isn't great. I am using the native joystick controls, but for some reason, I think it's... I don't know if it's in the original like this, but if you tap on the control pad, you actually swim faster. And I'm trying not to die here. No. That's bad. That's very bad. I'm probably gonna die, but... let's see. As you can see, there's checkpoints in this version, so we don't need to worry too much about dying in this version. Especially since it replenishes all of your health and air. Yeah, Gagaman also points out there is a 3DS version of this game, but it doesn't have any of the functions that the Windows 95 port has, which is kind of unfortunate because that particular port on of Ecco and the 3DS is pretty good, all things considered. Especially since they basically had to convert the game twice with both the Japanese and English versions of the game, which has like slightly different level layouts and some easier challenges in the Japanese version. But yeah, there you can still tap a button to swim faster in the PC version, but it doesn't work nearly as effectively as using the D-pad for some reason, which can get kind of annoying. Like, I'm trying to feather it to get past here. Like, you have to squeeze through this, or otherwise you just get repeatedly damaged and get caught and eventually die. But we're good here. Once you get a feel for like how the game works, it's actually kind of fun to play. But it's not going to save you from some of the really frustrating parts that you have to keep in mind. Yeah, with the sonar, we can communicate with other people, with other dolphins. After that initial typhoon happened at the beginning of the game, it's basically kind of gives people an idea of like the disruption of the serenity of the ocean floor that has occurred once, you know, something had taken away Ecco's entire family. But none are too courageous as daring as Ecco the Dolphin. Blah blah blah. It's kind of funny, the tranquility, I guess that's the right term you would probably use for it, that the developers intended to work with for Ecco and its universe. Because there's nothing cartoony whatsoever. They're just, like, literal animals with real problems. Yeah, here's another puzzle here. We need to follow this rock by pushing it down this this water current. And it's really tricky to do, especially once I get past it, I'm basically going to get shot back up. And one of the challenges... Oh! Ooh, ha! That's actually weird. In fact, this could actually be very bad. I just got past that glyph. Anyway, this dolphin needs to go back to its family, and I am stuck. Oh god, no. This shouldn't be happening. But it is. Oh, good! Haha! But yep, the 3DS version that Gagaman is kind of pointing out, it did add a slight 3D effect to the original game that separates the background from the foreground, which does look kind of cool. Although it doesn't really add that much to the game if you're looking for reasons to kind of trick out your 3D on your 3DS. Actually, if there is a Sega Classic you want to try that with, that would be Galaxy Force 2. Because that game looks amazing on there. And probably ideal for what they were trying to go with in the first place for bringing back old Sega games. Yep. If I'm not mistaken, we could actually finish this level now. Because normally you would want to try and help this dolphin have his family return to him, or her. If we look on the map, we can see that there is another dolphin that's trapped behind a glyph. Let's see if we can try and finish the level without doing that. Just so I can show off a little more of this game. I feel like this is easier to pull off on the Genesis version. No! And that's exactly why. Thankfully, this game is fairly okay with the puzzles sometimes, unless you get stuck. When you leave the screen, usually the puzzle items will come back. Ugh. Okay. Whew. Come on. Okay. Yep, we can move on. Awesome. Let's see. Some of the mods that the downloadable version from Caverns of Hope comes with is the ability to change out the sprites, as I was saying earlier. Now, of course, it's not a native function of the port. They did include a few examples of what you can do, such as replacing Ecco with Orko Jr. from Ecco Jr., as well as the original Genesis sprites from the Mega Drive version of Ecco the Dolphin. This is one of my least favorite parts of the game. Alright. Just random damage. Just constantly happening to you, no matter what you try and do. Alright, we need this. And here comes, like, one of the trickier puzzles in the game. Especially if this runs off screen, you have to go back and reset the puzzle. But yeah, if you hear the dunk dunk dunk, if you hear that, that means your air is being refueled. So this current right here actually helps Ecco breathe air underwater, which is especially necessary since if we try to go back now, we're stuck. We can't go back. But here we got another dolphin that is trapped. So we'll need to kind of swim by it to get him to come with us. And the controls are not really working with me right now. Alright. Now we're down here for a key. And here's one of the more annoying puzzle elements in the game. This is used to destroy enemies that are in your path, as well as bust away rocks so that we can get back out. And yes, you can blow this, or sonar this, into a wall, making you have to reset the puzzle. And now I gotta reset Ecco. Alright. Yeah, despite being kid-appropriate, it's still incredibly frustrating. And guess what? I just lost the thing, because I made it scroll off screen. Ugh. It's just easier to kind of get it to follow a set path. Ow. Yep, there are no there's no fish under here. There we go. Unless it's on the other side. Oh dear, I guess we're gonna have to do that anyway. And since we didn't hit a key glyph yet, we're kind of stuck. Well, thankfully there's a school of fish here, so we can continue on. There we go. Alright. Oh! I think this is about as far as I got when I tried playing this game again on the Wii's Virtual Console. Oh. Whew. Okay, we're good. Right. So the game urges you to travel in the air. Of course, you have to deal with gravity once you hop out. There's some really nice touches to make this game kind of give its own personality and charm. It really holds up today. It's just a shame that this game is just incredibly difficult for what it is. Yeah. I don't think we really need to reunite these dolphins, but, you know, it's the thought that counts, I suppose. And guess what? There's nothing here. The levels in Ecco are incredibly maze-like. Oh, yeah, there's another gimmick, which is, I have no idea what exactly this thing is. I assume it's not even an octopus leg, it's just seaweed or something that just kind of catches you, and you have to fight to get out of it. It's not always going to kill you. Ow. Thanks, I guess. Alright, so we do need something to bring back up there, because there's actually, if I'm not mistaken, there's a hole where that octopus is, but there's actually a rock. Ugh. In fact, I can just, ow, kind of show that off. Said, show that off. You have to try and go through here slowly, otherwise the octopus gets, ugh. Yeah, here we go. We need to get rid of that rock. And we need to not intimidate this octopus. But trying to slowly tap the D-pad to move around is not exactly the easiest thing, especially when he does that. But we're fine. Look at that. The collision in this game is so spotty. Like, I am right on top of this spike pit here. and I'm not taking damage for some reason? Oh. But somehow I'm able to graze past it. And for some reason I run into this bug where I'm talking to something, but I don't know what exactly I'm talking to. I don't know if it was like that in the original game or what. And I am running out of air. Oof. Alright, I mean, you abandon it. Because we're low on air and health, which is a bad sign. We got health, but not air. There we go. Yep. Linabro jumps into the chat, mentions about the soundtrack, which is pretty good. It's really good. Spencer Nielsen, who a lot of people kind of recognize him for basically redoing the soundtrack for Sonic CD in America, which is a love or hate it kind of soundtrack. I personally like it. If you were to ask me which one is the better one of the two, I can't really tell you, because I have no idea. Ow. I'm sorry, Ring of Spikes. I'd like to help you, but I don't know where you want to go. Also, swimming in front of you does absolutely nothing, so stop saying that. He's using the default plea for help that the dolphins in this level use, although I don't know what I'm hitting. I'd like to... Come on. See, here's what's tricky. You gotta be kidding me. Alright, I'm gonna try one more time. If not, we're just gonna try and move on. Because as much as I like to play the entire game here, it is pretty long. And there's other stuff I gotta show. Stop it. Stop it. Also, one other fun fact about Spencer Nielsen is that he is apparently a school professor now at a certain place. Well, that didn't work out. Alright. I do want to at least show off this one other level. I'm going to pop back here. And while I'm doing that, let me show you the low detail mode. So we're going to disable the high detail, zoom the window, and why not? I'm going to show you some of the mouse control in this game while I restore to this point, which is the ice zone. And it's not the best way to play the game. With the low detail mode, it lowers the resolution on Ecco and the other character sprites. And on top of that, let's go ahead and do this. On top of that, I think it gives us the original Genesis graphics for the levels and some of the heads-up display here. So what I'm doing here is I'm pointing my mouse in the direction I want Ecco to go in, but since Ecco only moves in 8 directions, it's kind of jerky, and really not the best way to play a game. It doesn't help that the camera also kind of adjusts where Ecco is. Yeah, the further away the mouse is, he goes faster. You use the right mouse button to use a sonar, and the left mouse button to charge. If I kind of go up, Ecco tries to bounce on the ice here. One of the cool little gimmicks that this game has. Whoop. And if you click away from it, it'll if you click away from the window, it will pause the game for you. kind of at a loss of where I need to go. I think I don't need to be here. And I'm about to die. Come on, Echo. Yeah. Not the best way to play the game, unfortunately. Luckily, we can go back to keyboard or joystick controls very easily and very quickly. But I think that's pretty much going to do it for Ecco the Dolphin. Like I said, it's free to go check out if you go to Caverns of Hope. Give them some praise for being able to bring this game back. It doesn't matter which version of Windows that you have. What is going on in this background? Ooh. That's weird. Anyway, it's free to download. So far, Sega's not blowing the whistle or anything like that. And it's, again, absolutely free. And if you already have a copy of Windows Ecco for Windows 95, you can just download the launcher and just play it that way. It'll give you all the necessary files that you need to get it started. And, let's see, I'm trying to remember, what else? There we go. It's much easier to hop on ice when you do that. You just tap up and then Ecco will just flip himself up. Ah. Oh, well. Let's go ahead and take a quick break while I switch games, and we're going to come right back with more fan-made action right here on Sega Channel Retro. Stay tuned.